Awesome.
Can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
So first of all, my name is Felix Martin. I am from Jackson, Mississippi, which is the other South, I always call it, up north in Mississippi. And I'm a health and fitness professional. I currently head coach at Orange Theory Fitness, and I got my degree in kinesiology in the Bachelor of Science. And I do a host of coaching from online training, head coaching at the studio of Orange Theory Fitness in Hallandale. Shout out to that studio. And also doing some personal training on the side as well. So been in the industry for the last 10 years, and it's just been going up from there so far.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, so we skipped the intro a little bit, but for those of you watching, or those that are going to tune in, we're also going to put this on YouTube. This is the third one of these that we've done where we're basically doing interviews with trainers throughout North Miami, Hollywood, Hallandale, and Aventura, which is sort of the area that our clinic serves. We've built some great relationships with trainers, so we're trying to get a diverse group. You know, we've already done a independent business owner, CrossFit gym, now Felix with Orange Theory and his personal training on the side. So we want to get a unique perspective. We met Felix pretty early, maybe sometime in the fall when we were working at Orange Theory Hallandale, providing some recovery for the members. He was coaching. Immediately, Felix started picking our brain. That's just the kind of guy he is, very, very inquisitive and interested. And since then, we've maintained a relationship. And, you know, Felix and I are always talking about, you know, ways to prevent back pain and stretches for classes and stuff like that. So he's very open-minded to all that stuff, which is awesome. So, Felix, tell us a little bit about your fitness/athletic background, like how you sort of got into this fitness coaching space.
Well, it all started around, I would say, the age of 13, when I found out that I was hypertensive. So at 13, finding out that your blood pressure is going up and you don't know why, that was alarming to me. So within my family, there was a history of hypertension from ever since I was born. And so it ended up hitting me. And I said, okay, if I don't do something about this, something's going to happen. And to me, I was just going to die. So it started there, and I started really learning about nutrition, learning about fitness, and exercise, and what that could do for your heart rate, what that could do for your body, and how that could better yourself. And so I went from there, and I started exercising. The very first exercise I did was Taebo. If you all know anything about Billy Blanks, that was the very first thing I ever did for exercise. And then I got into Taekwondo. I did all of those tapes and all of those videos, ended up getting into Taekwondo. And then I found out that it was something that I could potentially use. It had ended up becoming like anywhere from 3 to 5 years that I was doing those tapes and also taking Taekwondo. And I said, you know what? Once I got to college, I said, why not take this as a major and major in it and then coach people from that area? So that's really where it started, was with hypertension. And then me being afraid of, if I don't do something about this, then it's just going to get worse. So after healing myself, I then decided to heal other people in the same way that I did.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that story. I think it's really interesting that every single coach that we've talked to has some kind of event, whether it be something more personal, like a health concern, or some kind of athletic background that led them down this path. And I think it's super cool that you kind of took matters into your own hands at such a young age and decided, hey, I'm going to do something about this. This isn't going to control me, right?
And
so I think that's great.
I didn't know that what I was doing at that time was building a foundation for now. And it even trickled into my family. We all started eating better, because before then it was eating McDonald's. It was eating ramen noodles. It was eating tons of just sodium-based food. And I started learning about nutrition, and it just completely shifted at a super young age. Like, you can really better yourself and be healthier later on. So start now with moving forward with that, and it just got better.
That's great. That's so good to hear that you did that, and it's awesome when it translates into your family too, because I know from my experience, the fact that my mom was sick with an autoimmune disease kind of propelled us into kind of learning more about nutrition and learning about, you know, what things are good to put in your body when you have an autoimmune condition that, you know, you're going to live with for the rest of your life. So that really changed our family dynamic and changed the way everybody ate. All of a sudden, people are like, oh, what's Ezekiel bread? Like,
yeah. And then it becomes a catalyst for you to like live off of and use as a platform to help other people. And that's just the amazing thing. So it will always be a part of my life, health and fitness.
Oh.
It's just like little health agents into the community. And they would teach them, those students would go out and teach other kids about fitness, mental resiliency, and nutrition. So just like a teacher would teach you on math, we would go through an entire curriculum throughout the year from grades 9 through 12. And we would coach on mental resiliency, how to better your mind, how to make all of these different recipes that are really good for you, such as basil and spinach egg sandwich. That's super good that I still eat to this day. And then you have, we also did fitness classes. So we also helped to mentor and teach students about the proper ways to exercise. So it was just a whole curriculum, and you got contracted for 2 years to be a part of this company. And that was actually my first real job outside of college to do. And I did that in California.
Wow. That sounds like such a rewarding job to have.
It was. And then you get to see students who, you know, now they're majoring in fitness, or now they have a position in fitness, and they come back and they message you like, Coach Felix, you know, you remember when we did this class? Now I am inspiring people in that same way. And so that was just, it's still a rewarding thing to have gone through after college.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's really cool. And I'm sure like that experience of teaching others, not only, you know, from a nutritional standpoint, that's really helped you in different ways of your training now, and you helping your clients now kind of reach their health. Yeah, that's great.
It's built a solid foundation for me to be able to stand on and just really be strong in giving experience and knowledge to people in a way that is relatable to them. Because sometimes if you're in fitness, you can look up to a person and it seems like they are up here. What Health Core taught me is that we're all right here together. And by us being right here, I'm no better than you. I just have the experience to be able to help you rise to the level that you want to be at. And so that was a pivotal position to have.
Yeah, I like that. And I think, you know, judging from what I saw at Orange Theory, talking to the members, they love you and they think that your style is the right style for them. They love it.
I love them too. They just have no idea. And I miss them so much, so during this time.
I know. I miss Orange Theory too. I think Will has a follow-up question for you.
Yeah, so I guess we can get into, you know, your influence. You have unique influences. You know, a lot of times people get into the field you're in either from like some sort of health crisis or condition or something. In your case, it was the hypertension, or they come from being an athlete and transitioning into fitness. So how has some of your early influences, like the Taibo, the Taekwondo, the old school garage workouts, how has that influenced your training philosophy now when you work with clients of your own?
It just lets me know that movement in those types of ways, whether it's kicking and punching, whether you're jogging down the street, whether you're using weights, whether you're doing HIIT training, it's timeless. Like it never wears out and it always works. You can always go back to the basics, which those areas were the basics for me. And you can use them to benefit you. You know, kicking and punching, that gives you a lot of agility. Doing the weight training builds a lot of strength. And then if you're running, that's cardiovascular work. You blend all of those together and you get a workout that works for you. So whenever I train clients, I always go back to those components. Even this morning, we did a lot of Taibo, a lot of kickboxing, and we just work. And what it did for them was allow them to get into a zone and get an afterburn that they really could appreciate. So I always go back to those three components for any type of training that I'm doing.
Yeah. So you integrate the martial arts aspect as well?
Yeah.
With the training?
Outside of Orange Theory, yeah, definitely. Because it's such a solid foundation with building core strength, building your cardiovascular strength, and also just keeping your mental space in a focused area.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I know that you do one-on-one training, and you also obviously coach large classes. So what are some of the things that you enjoy about, obviously there's things to be said for the camaraderie of a big class, but also one-on-one, you obviously get individual attention. So what are some of the things that you like about both of those things that you do?
Honestly, it would be, one of those things would be the reward of hearing students or hearing a client say, you know, I am better because of you, or I'm better because of this particular workout, and I'm better because of how you coached it. Just hearing people say that, seeing from where they come from just maybe nothing, not having exercised for like 5, sometimes 6 years. And they come into this space where, yeah, the workouts we're giving, whatever I'm delivering is going to be challenging. But then you get on the other side of that and you see them say, there's like a light bulb come off. I didn't know that I had this in me. That is pivotal. And so that's one reward. And then I would say really seeing people's physical body change as their mental space change. I had one client who, back where I'm from, we started working together, and over a span of 2 years, he went from 300 pounds to a 180-pound human being. And he completely, once he went through this evolution and changed physically, he changed his career, he changed where he was living. Everything just started to shift because all of those things are connected on a mental space, on a physical space, a spiritual space, which is where I like to work from. And to see that evolution of his life from how he physically changed with us doing every session twice a week, that was also rewarding to see. That it can affect more than just your physical body. Right. That it can affect your work. It can affect how you relate to people. It affects what you do every day. All of your habits change based upon that. So,
yeah, I think it's like, I know even for myself, like once you get bit by that exercise and nutrition bug, it's almost like everything else kind of like layers in around that, like, but that's your foundation, you know, like even during a time like this, you know, during quarantine and whatnot, like maintaining good nutritional habits, finding what, you know, people are going crazy because they can't exercise, because that's become in a lot of cases like the foundation that people do the rest of their stuff off of. Like if I get my workout in, then I can be more productive, then I feel better about myself. It's something to look forward to, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, and it's I feel like it's a trend that people back 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, we were more about how do we tackle this obesity epidemic, you know, because people were getting larger and health was just going in another direction. And so now to see that whole shift from 15 years ago to now, it's like everybody's doing fitness. Everyone is moving in some way, shape, or form. They know it's important, and they're making it a priority. Even if it's not 100% of the community, it's more than what it was back then. And you can see it change and change and change, and it's now the foundation for where people operate from. It's like, if I don't do my workout, the rest of my day is not going to be what it needs to be.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that too.
I wanted to ask you too, there's a lot of the times we hear when anybody starts anything new, it's hard, right? And so what do you say to your clients to encourage them, you know, when they're starting this new fitness journey and trying to incorporate that into their schedule? What do you say to them? How do you motivate them? What are the things that you like to teach them to get them started?
I always go back to something in their life. So say if there's a challenge that is presenting itself that you have to break through, and whatever it may be in your personal life, and you really want to see change in this area, I tell people, treat your workout like you're seeing this situation. So bring that situation into the studio, bring that into the arena, bring that into your home, wherever you're going to train at. And once you break through that, see yourself breaking through that challenge that's in your own life. And that is like a light bulb that clicks off, and it motivates them to come and work out. And once they finish it, they're like, I see myself breaking through this in my life, or I see myself accomplishing this goal. And so that motivates them to get started and to stay in it, because they know change takes time. So if they're going to change their body, that's going to take time too, just like the situation or the goal that they want to accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
So
a great
I try
way
to bring that like psychological thing into play.
Yeah, of course.
It works.
What do you say to those people that say, well, that's great and all, but I don't have time? You know, we hear that a lot when people start new things. They say, well, I don't really have time for it. Like, I could devote maybe one day a week, but I don't really have time to do this. How do you further, increase that motivation for those people?
So one workout, we get 24 hours in a day, okay?
Yeah.
One workout could take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, a maximum of 1 hour if you devote it, out of 24 hours in one day. So all you have to do is just make time and make it a priority. Because if you give that time to yourself, then yourself, your mind, your body is going to give it back to you in such a positive light. So I just say, dial it down. Look at how much time you're going to spend doing a few minutes of sweating, a few minutes of challenging your body, a few minutes of challenging your mind to break through these reps, this set, this run, this row, and devote that to yourself, because it's going to pay you back in the long run. And whatever goal you're aiming to accomplish, it will happen if you devote just one day a week. Start there, one day a week to yourself. It's going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I hope a lot of people take your advice right now. I'm motivated.
I mean,
you can't tell. I'm like, I gotta go work out. I gotta go outside.
time is something, and if you just get it down to the minutes that you're spending in that push, it's nothing compared to 24 hours in a day.
Right.
You know, it's literally 4%. If you count it up 4 days, like 4% of your work week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can do that.
Yeah. We spend more time on our phones.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing this. Yeah. So
exactly.
Just got to get that time factor down and just really realize how much you're spending on giving back to yourself and making it a priority. So I tell people to look at the time, because we all have 24 hours, and we're all doing something with those 24 hours. And it can be spending it being idle, or it can be spending it giving back to yourself and really tapping in physically.
Yeah, that's great. I wanted to switch gears a little bit and ask you about your personal training philosophy. I know we talked about how you motivate your clients and those things, but more speaking about you, what's your personal training philosophy when it comes to fitness?
It would be take whatever challenges that are before you and use that as a platform to break through your workouts, like we talked about before. If you really have a goal that you want to accomplish, you can't accomplish the goal if you don't first set a foundation over here to break through this hard workout or break through this challenge. Then you can go forward and really meet that ahead that you have that you really want to do.
Yeah.
So it's really about, for me, bringing those challenges that you have in life into the studio or into the workout you're doing, and use this as a platform to accomplish X.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I believe.
Yeah, I love how you tie it all together. You know, that was one of the things that I was going to ask you about is, you know, when you do work with somebody and they have fitness goals, you know, how much do you bring in? I think you've already sort of answered this, but you know, how much do you bring in nutrition, mindset, recovery, sleep, stretch? Because obviously, you know, physical fitness is just one aspect of sort of being healthy.
Yeah.
So do you get into that kind of stuff with your clients?
So when it comes to nutrition, I usually refer out because that's a certification in and of itself that one would need in order to coach. But if I usually give like a guideline, you know, when it comes to nutrition, and that's just keep it basic. You have to have your water. You have to have your macros, your proteins, your carbohydrates, your fats. And what works for one person may not work for another. So if it comes down to the specifics for a specific individual and how their body operates, and maybe they have certain allergies, when it comes to nutrition, I will refer out. But if it's just like a baseline of how do I get started in this area, we go back to your proper macros, your drinking of water, and you taking your proper proteins. And then I think you mentioned hydration. Is that correct?
Yeah, like, you know, recovery, stretching, sleep, all that
Yeah.
other sort of stuff.
Everybody's schedule is different. So even with recoveries, you have to take your rest. And I always recommend at least 1 day of rest, 1 to 2 days of rest. And with sleep, you got to get your 6 to 8 hours because that's where your body's really going to recover and bring your body back so you can do more and deliver more. So all of those components are important. And I think people, when they come to me, they usually are like, where do I start? And so I just give a baseline of moving into that area. And when it comes to nutrition, just referring out.
Yeah, I think it's great because you can almost use fitness as a measuring stick for the effectiveness of that other stuff, right? So, like, I remember even when I was a trainer before I was a chiropractor, you know, you can have someone, maybe they start with training and you don't push the nutrition side that much or the sleep. You're just trying to get them in the gym. And then you start to give them some nutrition advice and you teach them about stretching. And they see like, wow, I started eating right, or I got 8 hours of sleep and I totally kicked butt in that workout. And then you love that feeling. And then you become trying to optimize other areas of your body around performance. And then you realize, wow, when I hydrate, I'm more productive at work. And then, you know, so then it's like, it's this cycle where it all helps itself. So I love that aspect of it.
And the goal is not to overwhelm people because it can be overwhelming when you're trying to learn how much water am I supposed to drink, or how many days am I supposed to be exercising? Is this particular meal going to be good for me? That can all be overwhelming when you have so much other stuff back here that you're worried about. So usually we come in and we just start with moving. And then it goes into, okay, how are you eating? And then it goes into how much are you drinking water? You know, it's bit by bit so that you don't overwhelm the mind with what to do and then you just freeze up. Yeah. So, and I think they appreciate that more, and then they're more productive as we go forward month by month. Yeah. So, and that keeps them in the game too, because they're like, okay, I've got this part down. Now we're moving into how to eat better.
Yes.
And once I get that down, now I can focus on getting my sleep. Got that down. Now all these components come together. I've built over time a lifestyle that works for me.
Yes.
And so that's really the goal, because everybody's body schedule, mentality is different. How can I help this person build a foundation that's going to last longer than just the next 3 months? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we work from there.
Yeah, obviously, like you know, that's something that we talk about in our clinic with patients as well, is trying to build long-term habits, long-term resiliency. Not, you know, of course we do have a treatment plan. Our goal is to get you out of pain in X amount of time, but we want you to have a great functioning shoulder forever and to continue to work on it, right? And same thing with fitness. There's, you know, 8 week this, 12 week that, but really, I think that the effectiveness lies in the habit and making it just part of your routine, even if that means incrementally adding on over time. You know, I'm sure like you've been training and doing, you know, maybe this has been 15 years in the making to get to the routine you have now, right?
Yeah. So incremental changes is you're just building blocks. Even if it takes you a year to get your body down to the fact that you have to go and do a workout twice a week, take that year. Then the next year you can focus on something different once you've built that foundation. It takes at least 21 days to build a habit.
Right.
So repetition is the mother of results. And once you get one part, the next part will just naturally follow suit.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, I like to feel how this client is going. Some people progress a lot quicker. Some people progress a lot slower. But you just, for me, it's about pinpointing, is this person comfortable with moving to this step, or are they still needing work in this area, a little bit more time, 10 to 11 care here. And then we'll move on to the next step. But it'll come. It's just taking time.
As long as they're consistent too. And that's why I love that you guys at Orange Theory have the Transformation Challenge, because it not only people feel accountable, but it allows people to kind of get into this routine and make it part of their lives for a certain amount of weeks. And I'm sure that they take that time, they take that challenge, and then that starts to, again, you know, propel them in a forward direction with their health and fitness goals. Speaking of the Transformation Challenge, can you talk to us a little bit about it for those people that don't know anything about Orange Theory or what the Transformation Challenge is? Can you talk to us a little bit about it?
So at Orange Theory, we always kick the year off with this big 8-week challenge. And it's a challenge where you sign up and you have to do at least 3 of our Orange Theory-based workouts 3 times a week. And at the end of the 8 weeks, your goal is to lose a certain percentage of body fat. And once you've gotten down, you're competing with other members in the studio. You're motivating each other, and you're also competing to get that one spot to where you win a monetary gain or you win some type of studio bucks in order to help you move forward in your journey. But it lasts an entire 8 weeks, and you get 3 days that you have to make at least 3 of our workouts. And so it works from there starting January, and it rolls all the way through March. So before all of this stuff went down, we were going to have a big celebration for our members. But of course, we are where we are. But yeah, it kicks off every January. And it's like a huge thing because so many people sign up, and it motivates them to like just stick to it at the beginning of the year. That way they set that foundation, and then the rest of the year, they've got something that they can work from, even if they're a new member. It's so crazy how they come in, and then by April, they're just like this beast who started out as a little turtle, just moving into this wave. So, yeah, over the 8 weeks, you see so much change in people, mentally and physically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you from personal experience, when I first joined Orange Theory, because I'm an Orange Theory person, for those people who don't know. So when I first joined Orange Theory, I watched a video on YouTube of this blogger saying, oh yeah, I did Orange Theory for 30 days and I lost a bunch of weight. And I was thinking, like, I don't really want to lose a bunch of weight, but I just wanted to go ahead and try it because I never run. And running and rowing is definitely a big part of Orange Theory. So I said, let me just try it out. So in this YouTube video, the blogger she's like, the first day I went, it was like the mile run. And I was like, oh, I hated the mile run. I hated the mile
benchmark.
Run. I hated
the benchmark.
it in high school. So then I thought to myself, like, okay, I'm going to try it out. Hopefully I don't get the mile run. Sure enough, the first day, it was the mile run.